I'm Kathleen Lavey, and I am a reporter at the State Journal now. I actually started in journalism back in the early 1980s, and the first place I worked was the Livingston County Press in Howell, Michigan. And the first job I had was typesetter. It was my summer job between high school and college. And we had these massive machines where we would, I would help these full-time typesetters type all the stories. The reporters would throw their copy into a basket, and I would run and get it and pass it out to people, and we would sit at these big machines typing the stories in, and these machines would transfer the type onto these long tapes that had holes punched in them that corresponded to letters. And then we would feed these through a machine, and the printed type of the paper would come out, and then we would put hot wax on the back of the paper and then stick it down on a layout sheet and then proofread it with a blue pen, because that could not be seen by the cameras, and then send it back where it was made into a printing plate. And this was the easy way compared to my dad, who was a hot metal printer for his entire career. Now we're kind of on, he said, oh, you and this newfangled stuff. And now I'm looking at what was newfangled back at that time, and it's kind of an extremely distant memory as to how we do it now. I could tell you about the future of journalism, except I do not have a crystal ball, and I don't think there's anybody who can tell you about the future of journalism. But I can tell you some of the things that we are doing at the Lansing State Journal now. After I graduated from the University of Michigan, I went to work at the County Press and Brighton Argus full-time. Did that for a couple years, and then joined a Gannett paper in Fremont, Ohio. From there, I moved to Port Huron. The person who hired me in Port Huron was Sue Brzezinski, who is in this picture, as a Lansing State Journal reporter. So yes, journalism is a small world. And then I came to Lansing in 1988 as on the city desk. I was an editor for a lot of years. When I decided to adopt my first daughter, and then sort of accidentally decided to adopt my second daughter, who is here with us tonight. That's Ella. Ella, wave at the... I decided that I needed something a little more flexible, and that's when I switched back to reporting. And the thing that I have loved about journalism in all the time that I've done it is that, I think Dave alluded to this also, it has never been the same 2 days in a row. It's always different and very enjoyable. Which I guess is good, because the future is certainly not going to be the same 2 days in a row, or even 2 hours in a row. One of the things that has changed the most over the past couple years is that the tools that we use for journalism are very different than the tools that we have used in the past. I still have my trusty pad and my trusty pen, and I take them everywhere. But more and more we are relying on our iPhones. We've got reporters shooting video. We've got reporters taking pictures and posting them immediately to the internet. What is great about these tools is that they provide us with real immediacy. We don't have to wait to process anything back in the office. We can just zap it, as long as we can get a cell phone signal, which is a little iffy in some parts of our coverage area. We can send the information straight to the web and get it up so that people will know what's going on. I think there are a few advantages. I mean, we are all doing video, and I think people like video. People want to see video. I think that there are some advantages to the internet as a platform, because even on a good day, I have a feature story that is running tomorrow that has some beautiful pictures by Rod Sanford. I thought it was interesting, Dave had the picture of him and Rod Sanford and Greg DeRuyter, and both Rod and Greg are still with us, and I think they're among the few people who have more seniority than me at the Lansing State Journal now. I'm going to knock on wood that my seniority stays. We've got some fantastic pictures of these kids who are about to be in they're at the Capital Area Career Center, which is, they have vocational education and a variety of programs, and these kids are in the culinary program, and they're going to be competing this weekend in kind of a restaurant competition. They have 1 hour to plate a perfect dinner. Probably in the newspaper, we even have a whole page inside. We're probably going to get 5 pictures in. But we've got 30 great pictures, and we can put a lot more of those pictures into a gallery. So we there are certain advantages to the web in that it's kind of a value added for people who wanna see more. We can give them more. We can do more. We can add video. We can add things that people want to see. Certainly, the presentation of news has, I think you all have been kind of with us over the past few years as the paper has shrunken, as the staff has shrunken, and the number of pages has shrunken, and the actual paper itself has shrunken, because if you put one of our Today paper against one of those old ones back there, there's quite a few inches on one side and one end that are smaller. I think that here in Lansing, we have, there have been some newspaper publishers around the country who have chosen to stop publishing 7 days a week, or have chosen to stop publishing altogether and have gone to internet products. We've also seen in recent months and past year or so that some of these people have come back to paper products. There are certain days of the week where publishing a newspaper is in fact profitable, and I think everyone is kind of looking for a medium. Right now, for the foreseeable future, we are committed to a print product, and Gannett is committed to a print product, and that has been, some of you who are subscribers have probably noticed that we have a partnership with USA Today at this point, where they are boosting USA Today's circulation by distributing content in the local papers. This is good for a couple of reasons. One, because if you are interested in that national and international news and the way that they do it, it's available to you and you don't have to buy a separate newspaper. The second thing that I think is really good about it is that in order to balance that USA Today section and make the paper fit on the press right, we get more local news whole. So we are able to bring you more local stories. And that's part of the reason why I get a photo page tomorrow with the story that I wrote and Raj shot the photos for, because we have this extra space, which we haven't had for a while. So it is really nice to kind of make that commitment to the print product as well as the web product. One of the things that has really changed, I think back in the day, back when I started, and certainly back when Mike Hughes was covering city council, we used to come to the meeting and we would write our story, and we would go out with some quarters for the payphone if we had to call in. And we would write our story and it would come out the next day. And now if we are going to a meeting, we are expected to have our phones so that we can put developments of the meeting on Twitter as we go along, so that we can file a brief to get online in the middle of a long meeting. We will still write our story for the print product that will kind of roll up everything that we've done, but we're kind of juggling and doing two or three different kinds of reporting through the course of an evening of covering a meeting or an event. And trust me, sometimes that is it is a literal juggling scenario where I'm kind of saying, wait, let me hold this, let me get this out. I think that this is a little bit trickier for us, but I do think that we have people who consume our stories in different ways. We have people who want the print story. We have people who want to see right now on Twitter what's going on, and so we kind of have to take care of all of those readers at the same time. Kind of the newest thing in the newsroom as we continue our evolution is something that is called metrics, and we are just on kind of the verge. We've been tracking. We have this big TV screen in the newsroom. And did we have this when you? Yeah. We have this big TV screen in the newsroom, and it tells us in real time the top 10 stories that people are reading online. So basically, today, the top story for a lot of the day was the NCAA tournament, which is not necessarily a surprise, and there might have been 50 or 60 people reading that. I had a story floating up and down on this chart that we did a bracket kind of asking people to vote for their favorite state park in our Michigander section. And so these things are kind of floating up and down on the board all day long. And And we can actually see something go up or down in readership if we put something on Facebook or something on Twitter. And it gets retweeted a couple of times, then people will come and check it out online. So this is kind of the brave new world. I don't know if any of you are familiar with this 1980s TV show called Max Headroom, where there was a TV news crew, and the crews all followed their ratings in real time and tried to boost them as they went. And that's kind of where we are with the metrics. Every week I get a report, and it tells me how many people read my stuff on each day of the week. And what this, we have been assured that this is not to judge our performance, but however, I think the highest and best use of this kind of information, which can be sorted in a variety of different ways, is to tailor what we are covering to provide what people want or what people are spending a lot of time with. We find that people spend a satisfying amount of time with some of our larger projects that we do on 1A, some of the journalism that we're doing to kind of public service kinds of things. And we find that, of course, people love, the top thing ever is always police dash cams. People love their crime news. So I think in a world that was perfectly guided by metrics, you would have giant stories about huge issues, and you would have crime news and puppies. and I don't know if any of you are aware of this, but Melissa Gilbert, who is a TV star, was a child star on Little House on the Prairie. Well, she married Timothy Busfield, who is also an actor and grew up in East Lansing. They now live in Howell. They are renting a house in downtown Howell. So every now and then the Howell paper will write about something that Melissa Gilbert did in town. And we will put that up on our website. And every single time Melissa Gilbert is up there, she goes to the top and stays there. I guess this is about the staying power of repeated presence on television. The key thing, I think it's very encouraging that people will look at our big projects and some of the things we do that have a lot of art, a lot of numbers, a lot of kind of where we're looking under a rock. We've had a kind of a continuing examination of the Board of Water and Light's behavior during the power failure, where we were out for 8 days. I don't know about you guys, but so we have kind of continued on that, and we have a number of investigations that we're turning on and working out on, and people do spend time with those and do keep looking at those, and we are truly committed to the public service aspect. Now, it's no secret that we have approximately half the amount of people that we used to have in the newsroom. When I came to work at the State Journal in 1988, we had about 80 people in the newsroom, and we are down to fewer than 50 at this point, but we are still committed to bringing relevant news in the way that people want it, and that is what we're still trying to figure out what that is. Anyway, that's just kind of a little overview, and I will pass it on to the next person.